Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to my day after reaction to the Commanders' wild 30-24 overtime victory in Week 17 versus the Atlanta Falcons to clinch a playoff berth for the first time since 2020, to win 11 games in a season since 1991. We still got a game to go. We can win 12 games this season. How does that sound? And to get to the 6th seed. Right now, as it stands, the Commanders are the 6th seed in the NFC playoffs. If they win on Sunday versus the Dallas Cowboys, they will be the 6th seed and will travel to L.A. to take on the Los Angeles Rams. So, a lot happened last night. But before we get to any of that, we go into the offs. 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 How y'all feeling this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is when you're watching this, how are you feeling? You've had a chance to lay it down, to rest your eyes. How you feeling? I feel like new money. I feel great. Feel like new money. You know what my wife said to me? She brought this to my attention. I didn't even think about this. We're the only team in the NFC East to beat the Atlanta Falcons. And not that that's a flex or anything like that. They're an 8-8 team, right? But the Eagles didn't beat them. The Cowboys didn't beat them. And the Giants don't beat anybody. But we did. Hey, at the end of the day, we got to 11. We got in. And the way that we did it was phenomenal. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of the Falcons fans that that didn't know the field goal wasn't good. God, they're stupid. But I'll be making my rounds, kind of taking in the moment. Haven't really had a chance to do that yet. I'm just basking in the glory that is 11-5 with a game still left to go. And it set in last week against Philadelphia that this is, I told y'all on Commanders Nightly News, this is our new existence. This is who we are now. Understand that we are must-see TV. We are the hottest ticket in town because we got one of them ones. And when you have a polarizing quarterback like Jaden Daniels, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Joe Burrow, like a Lamar Jackson, people pay money to see you play. And I'm going to tell you right now, the way we came back and won last night is just another notch in our belt, another feather in this team's cap this season, that they just refused to quit. We were down 17-7 and things weren't going right at halftime, but they didn't flinch. They didn't blink. They knew they got the ball, and this is why I'll never understand why teams think it's a good idea to take the football first. And I don't care if you want to send a message. Like, the only way that makes sense is if you're playing a front-running team that has never been punched in the mouth, and you think punching them in the mouth by taking the ball first and scoring is the way to go about it. And we've seen that work for teams, right? The Packers did it to the Cowboys last year. Won the toss, took the football, went right down the field, scored, and they punched Dallas in the mouth, and the Cowboys never got up. Because bullies don't like when they get bullied. But for the life of me, I'll never understand why someone thinks it's a good idea to win the toss and take the football first. Because I know what the score is at the beginning of the game. I don't know what the score is going to be at halftime. They were up 17-7. Could you imagine if they would have gotten the ball to start the second half with the way we were playing? They probably would have scored another touchdown. They would have been up 24-7 and the game would have been over. But instead, they won the toss. They elected to receive. They throw a pick on the opening possession. We score a touchdown off of it. Now, we didn't have a great half, but we got the ball at halftime, after halftime rather. And that set the tone for the second half. We had an 8-minute drive to start off the second half. Then they go 3 and out, and then we put together another 8-minute drive that spanned the rest of the third into the fourth quarter and scored another touchdown and took the lead. Then they went 6 and out, and then guess what? We scored a field goal and almost scored another touchdown, if not for a Sam Cosmi holding penalty. So it was a tale of two halves. We didn't play well in the first half because of our own mistakes, and it almost got us got. And we talked about this last night. We're going to have to clean that up. You're not going to win very many games doing the shit that we did last night, making the mistakes that we made last night. You're not going to win very many games doing that. But you know what was so impressive last night is to win a game, score 30 points. Again, we're one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL, and we proved it yet again last night. And it wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't have to be. But you find ways to win, and your best player has 1 catch for 5 yards. And you still scored 30 points. I liken it to last week against Philadelphia, having 5 turnovers and still scoring 36 points. It just doesn't happen. But when you got one of them ones, you can have your best player have 1 catch for 5 yards. And Jaden said it after the game in his press conference. And I told y'all this last night. He didn't get clamped. I talked to somebody today who was like, man, Terry got clamped. I'm like, no, he didn't. He was open. And every time Jaden threw him the ball, he was off. They just weren't in rhythm for whatever reason. You know, he didn't give him catchable footballs. And, you know, the one time he did knock it away was on the slant. And that wasn't the greatest ball. It was in the air, and it gave away from Terry's body, and it gave A.J. Terrell an opportunity to knock it out of his hands. But every other pass, Terry was diving for it, or it was, you know, out of his reach, and he didn't give him a shot. And he said, yeah, that was on me, you know. But to have a game where your best player on offense, not named Jaden Daniels, has 1 catch for 5 yards, and you still put up 30, and you're still able to spread the ball around judiciously, you're still able to move the football, you still are able to go 6 of 13 on third downs, you're still able to go 3 of 3 on fourth downs, you're still able to go 4 of 6 in the red zone. Hell, we got in the red zone 6 times. This offense is a machine. Do you know how many times we had to overcome 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 8? Do you know how many times we had to overcome long downs and distances because of our own undoing, of our own doing? This offense is a machine, and it starts with Jaden Daniels and his legs. 16 carries, 127 yards. New rushing record for a rookie. I was ready to ask y'all, do you think he's going to break the record? And then the man went out in the biggest game of the season and set career highs across the board rushing. Carries, 16. Yards, 127. Set the record, all in one fell swoop. Like, if he plays the full game against Dallas, which is highly unlikely if you ask me, but we'll see what happens, there's a real chance he could rush for 1,000 yards this year. Now, I don't know what the official count is right now. I think he had 736 going into the game and then dropped to 127. So that probably put him at 850, 860, somewhere in that neighborhood. If it was 736 and you add 27 to that, that'd be what, 863? So he'd be, 137 yards away from 1,000. Like, I'm not chasing after stuff like that. He's already set the record. That's good enough for me, right? We already got the offensive rookie of the year. That's good enough for me. What a game. That was one of those gut check games. Yep, the defense, we know, we got limitations. We got liabilities out on the field. We are fully aware of this. But I thought Quan Martin had a strong night. I thought Jeremy Chin had a strong night. And look, it wasn't one of our better tackling efforts, but that's Bijan Robinson too. You got to put some respect on his name. We let Kyle Pitts loose on a catch, and he had a couple of big catches, including the fourth down game-tying catch. But when it was all said and done, they made just enough plays to get us over the hump. And look, we know about this defense, and we know that when it's winning time, they're not going to get it done. So we know it's on the offense. And you just got to know who you are. And as fans, I think we should understand who we are at this point. Having a chance to digest what transpired last night, I always use the analogy of, your dad is coming to pick you up, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're looking out the window, and dad said he'd be there at 6. It's 7:30, and you're waiting, and you still want to believe that dad's coming. It's 8:30, and mom's like, you know what? I made you some food. You want to eat? And you're like, nah, I'm waiting. Dad said he was going to get me some food when he comes. And now it's 9 o'clock, and your dad ain't coming, right? At some point, you realize, and it's disappointment, and it sets in. Dad ain't coming to get you, right? For those of you still waiting on this defense to get a stop when it matters most, it ain't coming. You can stop looking out the window, waiting for this defense to get a stop when it matters the most, because it ain't happening. You've got enough examples to see that it ain't happening. And if it does, it'll be a welcomed surprise. But it ain't happening. Don't look for this defense to get a crucial, critical stop, because it ain't happening. If we're going to win a game late, it's going to be because of this offense. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. It's going to be because of this offense. We got to score points, because we're not going to hold somebody to 17 or 20 or any of that bullshit, because we're not built that way. We're going to win a game. We're going to have to score 27. We're going to have to score 30. We're going to have to score 33 or 36. And we're equipped to do that. Okay? But God forbid we have an off day offensively. It usually, what's crazy is when we really don't play well on offense, somehow the defense actually plays well that game. But they're not good enough to win it by themselves. They've proven that against the Eagles the first time, right? They proved it, against the Giants. They're not good enough to win it by themselves. They're still going to need the help of the offense at some point. Good defenses can win it by themselves when, hey, you don't got it today, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We've had games this season where the offense just didn't play well. Against Dallas the first time. And the defense gave us a chance in that game. Gave us a chance. Special teams gave us a chance. But they couldn't win it. When we needed stops late in that game, they couldn't get them. They never do. And last night was another example of that. We had ample opportunities, 2 fourth downs on the final drive of regulation for the Falcons. Or the second to last drive where they tied it up. We had 2 fourth downs, and they were 4th and longs. It was a 4th and 8. A 4th and goal from like the 11 or the 12. And they got both of them. And so that stop you're looking for as you watch your television, come on, defense. It ain't coming. It ain't coming. But to win a game, trailing by 10 at half, where your best player, not named Jaden Daniels, has 1 catch for 5 yards, to answer and respond in the manner that we did defensively after getting gashed in the first half, to stand up and get 2 defensive stops in a row, which at the time seemed unheard of after the way they looked in the first half, to make those adjustments, it's pretty damn big. Because, again, as bad as some of you talk about the defense, I know what this defense is. That's why I don't get bent out of shape. When I need a stop during the course of the game, the defense is capable of getting me that stop. And they did it twice. Without those stops, we don't win the game. They had to get those stops to keep the momentum flowing on our side. But when the game's on the line, I know my defense, and I know they're not going to get us the stop. We don't have a closer. We don't have a guy that says, the buck stops here. It's over. You're finished. There is no Chris Jones. There is no Myles Garrett. There's no TJ Watt. We don't have one of those guys. There's no finisher. There's no closer. We have to get one of those. We were hoping that Marshawn Lattimore would provide us with a little something. Well, he's got to be healthy to do that. Clearly, they're done with Benjamin St-Juste. For as bad as Michael Davis was last night, they refused to put this man in. So they're telling you he's cooked. Good. All right? Somebody asked me last night, would I rather Benjamin St-Juste or Michael Davis? Give me Michael Davis. I'll choose the lesser of the two evils. They both are scary propositions, but one is less scary than the other. Slightly. Slightly. At least one doesn't come equipped with penalties as well, right? But when it's all said and done, we won the game last night. And we won it in epic fashion. And similar to the Eagles game, the biggest mistake that was made by the Atlanta Falcons is the same mistake that was made by the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't give the ball to 5 twice with a chance to win. You're lucky if you get away after giving it to him once. Nobody survives twice. Nobody survives twice. That's why if we would have got it back against the Steelers, if Johnny Newton doesn't jump off sides, there isn't a doubt in my mind they were going to punt that football because Mike Tomlin, that's in his nature. They were going to punt. And Steelers players said after the game they were going to punt. They were never going to snap that football. And if we would have gotten that ball back, we'd have beat them 30-28. I am as sure as the day is long that my guy was going to take us down the field. Well, he never got that chance. He never got that chance. But you give him a second shot, usually all he needs is one. All he needs is one. But if he doesn't get it done the first time and you give it to him again, you might as well pack up your things and leave because you're done. It's over. The Eagles found that out last week, and the Falcons found that out. And, you know, it's a sight to behold when you win the toss and you already know y'all are never seeing the light of day. I remember when the Bucs and the Chiefs played on Monday Night Football and the Bucs scored this dramatic touchdown to tie the game up, and I said, you need to go for 2 here. You got to go for 2 in the win, because if Mahomes wins this toss, if the Chiefs win this toss and Mahomes gets this football, you'll never see the light of day. You'll never see that football again. And sure enough, the Chiefs won the toss. And you know, when you got one of them ones, it's a wrap. You're never getting that football back. When we won that toss, when he said, heads, I said, dummy, tails never fails. You lose. It landed on tails. We took the football. I said, you're done. We're finished here. Pack your things up. You can go. Hey, we clinched. Hey, y'all, come on. We clinched the playoff berth. We won the toss. We got one of them ones. Do you realize that this is a 3-win team without Jaden Daniels? You are aware of that, right? Last night was further proof that we don't exist without this man. That's going to change this offseason. We're going to get help. Help is on the way. Reinforcements are coming. But you do realize this is a 3-win team without him, right? We'd be vying for the number 1 pick in the draft without Jaden Daniels, with the roster that's assembled. A rising tide lifts all ships. Damn, it feels good to have one of them ones. Golly. 227 through the air, another 127 on the ground. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He made every big play. Whether it was a throw to like the one to Ertz for the game winner, or he ran on 3rd or 4th down. Every big play. He made it. We go into the offs. We go into the offs. We go into the offs. Yeah. And Zach Ertz was massive. OZ was massive. If we get those types of contributions from those guys, and then you know, add back in Terry, because don't expect Terry to have that kind of game moving forward. Any hope of Terry eclipsing 1,300 yards and getting 15, that all went to hell last night. That ship sailed. Not going to happen, but still had a hell of a season with Terry McLaurin. I just wanted a little bit more, but it's all good. It's coming. You see the magic that those two are going to make in the future. It's going to be beautiful, especially when he gets somebody opposite of him that takes some of that coverage away. But I'll tell you this much, and then we'll get out of here. Looking at this team and the way it's constructed and knowing what we're capable of with Jada Daniels under center, seeing how we're able to find ways to win with this coaching staff and them finding ways to make adjustments, this is a dangerous team. How dangerous? We'll find out. And yeah, we got limitations and we got to get some guys healthy. That's the biggest thing moving forward. And you know, they're going to make the right decisions on most of those guys. They're not playing against the Cowboys in week 18. You know, I think Biotis will be back. I think Wiley will be back for sure. Like those are the two that I feel confident back by the time we get to the postseason. I'm nervous about the hamstrings. You know, De'Ami Brown and Jordan McGee and Marshawn Lattimore. I'm nervous about those guys, but we might get Austin Eckler back. That'll help. And we're a dangerous team. I'm just telling y'all right now. Nobody wants to see us in the playoffs. They can lie to you and tell you, yeah, no, I want the Commanders. Eagles fans will lie to you. They lying. They don't mind playing us. They're not afraid of us. But they don't want the smoke. They'd much rather play somebody else, right? They'd much rather play somebody else. They'd much rather play Green Bay. I don't know. Maybe they don't rather play Green Bay. Either way, the Eagles could be in some trouble. That 2 spot ain't a good spot to be in because either you getting us or you getting the Packers and Jordan Love. Either way, it's a dangerous place to be. The Eagles are in some trouble. Let me just say that. And I know they might laugh when they see that or hear me say that. Laugh all you want. We had 5 turnovers and we scored 36 points on your vaunted defense. And I watched Rico Dowdle run all over them. I'm gonna just tell y'all this. I'm really confident that we're going to win a playoff game this year. And if you're not careful and if the matchups line up correctly, we could win more. We could win more. Either way, damn, it feels good to be in the playoffs. Playoffs? We go into the offs. We go into the offs. Because I got 5 on it. I see y'all later for Commanders Nightly News. Remember, I got a massive announcement, so make sure you tune in later on tonight for that. But just lay back, kick it, and enjoy the ride. We go into the offs. Yeah. See y'all next time.
LouieTeeNetwork.